when the lumberjacks came through here, they spotted streams that ran between the lakes, and they decided it would be a good idea to turn them into logging canals. They dug them a little bit wider, a little bit deeper, with, I guess, plans of just popping the logs they cut in here and watching them float down to the sawmill on the next lake. But there was a problem with the plan. It's called the current. It goes this way to the north. They wanted to go that way to the sawmill to the south. Oops. I think they solved the problem with a couple of mule teams. Here is the kind of tree they would have been after, high to our left, wrapped in that pine. That's a long needle southern pine, one of the few left from that era, but it's here for us to enjoy on this Sunday. Up ahead is Osceola Avenue over our heads, and our heads are at risk. It's a low bridge, and to make things worse, there are pipes underneath there that can really mess with your perm or your part. So I suggest a duck. It's always worked for me. And here's something that even vexes the locals. This street has 4 names in a half mile: Fairbanks, Osceola, Brewer, and finally Aloma. You don't have to remember any of those names, as long as you remember to duck right about here. Because if you fail to remember to do that, I don't think you'll remember anything into Tuesday. Nice work in the back, much better than my last 2 groups. Thank you. Just a little bit of cooperation, that's all it takes. No, you don't want to be gator bait, that's for sure. So up ahead here is a natural bridge formed by the limb of a live oak tree. This is kind of a highway for squirrels. This is how they get across the canal. And this picture has been on pretty much every cell phone that's ever been on the boat. Also made a couple of magazine covers. And this is a nod, not a duck. Just a little bit of a nod. There we go. Now, does anybody here want to see an alligator on the trip? I didn't get a rousing yes or no there. Does anybody want to see an alligator? Yeah. Okay, if you don't, look right. If you do, look left. And here are the instructions. Look on the left bank just past this boathouse. Look low, and by all means, lower your expectations. This guy's a bit of a stoner, been here for years, and he'll be right there in that spot when we come back through here. Quite frankly, I'm more afraid of his friend, the attack frog. You see, he is tethered to the tree there. This is Lake Virginia, and it was named by the owner of the sawmill. He came from the Commonwealth. One more. But our first non-native settlers were actually from Georgia, and their name was Mizell. David Mizell and his family, hello ladies, came down here in 1858, just before the war between the states broke out. A couple of years later, settled over here to our left and called their settlement Lakeview, but the view was quite different back then.